Hello, my name is Jeff. This is my first day uploading these videos. Already I have two playlists, two sets of videos set up. In this channel I want to be very open and frank and share a lot of thoughts that have been going through my almost 47 years. Today in this video I wanted to mention my wish list. Let me mention how this came about. A few years back, somebody asked me what I wanted for my birthday. My birthday is actually coming up November 14th, but this is a few years ago. A friend asked what would I like for my birthday, and I thought through the material things that I could think of weren't as important to me as some accomplishments and some major things in life. So I just started writing down my list, and coincidentally they turned out to be a list of 10. I can't remember the name offhand. Oh, bucket list. I think the website is called My Bucket List or Bucket List, something like that. But so that's what I came up with, and so I don't have that bucket list with me. I wrote a new one from memory, and I wanted to share it with you now. The first one is family reunion. I had grown up with my mom. My dad wasn't around for the most part when I was growing up. I was born in Boston, and from what I could gather, research, about 5 years after my birth, my mom took me and left my dad. I don't know, I could take a guess as to why, and actually I started a memoir trying to figure that out. And my dad, then we moved to Canada, and we lived in Winnipeg for a while. And then I remember my dad, and then after that we went back into the United States, back to New York, or went into New York, and settled in Binghamton for a little while, and that's when my dad came to visit. And from my conscious memory, that's my first visit, seeing my dad. And it was also 1983, and I'm quite sure that that's the first time I had seen a movie in a movie theater, Return of the Jedi. So then we moved again shortly after that to, I think, Albany, somewhere in there, and then we finally settled in central New York, in Syracuse, New York. My dad would visit like a handful of times after that, and fortunately there were only a few times, so I could pretty well piece together the memories as to when those were. Anyway, aside from that, my mom would frequently walk with me. We would take walks, and she knew about my creative writing and art, drawing and artistry and so forth. And sometimes she would tell me anecdotes about family history, mainly her brother and her brother's son, and some aspects of the family. She mentioned her father and so forth, so which would be my grandfather. But I never actually got to meet them for a long while. At my bar mitzvah, I remember, so I envied other kids having both parents. It was a standard thing, have both parents. I just grew up with my mom, so to me it wasn't very weird. It was just different that other kids had two parents for the most part. At my bar mitzvah, my uncle came and I guess met with me. I remember him driving in a taxi cab, coming in a taxi cab to the temple, and I don't remember if we had any conversation or what. And then that was in 1990, November 1990, and then in summer 92. This is a big deal for me. There's part of a Federation of Temple Youth for New York, and it dipped into, I guess, Connecticut, because there were some kids from Connecticut and New Jersey, that area. There was an opportunity to go to Israel. So those who wanted to go, those who were able to go. It was a big deal for me. I had never been on a plane trip. To this date, it's the only time I've been on a plane trip, even outside the country, the plane trip in general. And I was really proud that my uncle had come, and he was pissed off that we kids weren't given the plane tickets. I could understand even at the time, but at the same time, I felt proud that this guy that I had barely known was actually defending me and actually had some kinship with me. So I remember him at the airport. I was proud about it. It's kind of a small episode, but written something for the Dick Van Dyke Show. I really enjoyed I still do, the Dick Van Dyke Show. And I called him and wanted to talk to him, and he was watching a Victor Borga special, and so it was like he was partially paying attention to what I was saying. That's the way I remember it, and I was kind of bothered that he was paying some attention to what he was watching there. I wanted more. So then, just in general, I wanted more contact with him. But I guess I could settle with that. I had settled with that. And then in college, I began, as I mentioned before, for reasons I'd mentioned before in other videos, I felt lonely and I felt frustrated. And by that point, I realized my mom wasn't able to give me all the resources I needed to be able to go further in life. I remembered my classmates from high school moving off, and it was a big deal, and I was stuck at home. And so I wanted to reach out, and that carried through college, and then even into after college, the few years after college. I really wanted to find my kin and build more of a relationship with them. Since then, yeah, I mean, the past few years, okay, so in a few, like 2015 onwards, I've had like one call with my first cousin's son, and I've had a few calls with my cousin, and I talked with his wife once on the phone around September 11th, 2001, and I remember my first cousin's daughter. Thankfully, I was able to get a little bit of a message, a little bit of a response back, and I guess they mean well. For a long time, I wondered if I've begun to wonder if I was like a black sheep of the family. It just seemed seemed like pulling teeth in order to get like a morsel of something. I wish there was more, and I guess that's where it stands now. I've talked with my cousin about the idea of a Zoom, and he said, "Yeah, we look forward to a Zoom, or we're going to talk more." And it hasn't been happening yet. Just eager. I guess they're busy, or they I understand they're very busy. It seems like it's never going to happen. Feels like it's never going to happen. So that's number one, family reunion. Number two, girlfriend. By this point, I've mentioned in past videos, I haven't had a girlfriend for geographic reasons, I guess. Um, I'm Jewish, and I've wanted somebody who's also Jewish, and never been kissed, never had a kiss yet, and so now it's feeling I felt lonely for a long time, and it also seems unjust and unfair that I have all these great qualities, and I think I could be a really good boyfriend and husband and significant other, and somebody would be really, I mean, not to sound like I'm bragging, but I think somebody would feel really lucky to have me in their life, in her life, and it's just unfair, especially with Judaism being so family oriented. Um, it's a missing chunk of potential full life, full rich life. That's number two. Number three, meeting Madonna, and I uploaded a whole bunch of videos. There's a whole playlist, well, or what I will make into a playlist. It looks like a 5-part video series of movie I'm making. But beyond that, I think there are some traits that we share, and I'm curious if she would see the same traits. It's like one creative person to another, and there's some sense of acknowledgement too that I hope would be there, like acknowledgement of my talents and capabilities. That means a lot to me, just somebody acknowledging my talent and capabilities. And number four would be getting a chance to at least swim once in the mertail that I bought, and I mentioned that in the cosplay set of videos. I have this dolphin tail that's in the closet over there. It's folded up, and I don't know if it would even fit me, but it's I'd like at least one experience swimming in it. And five, become a professional screenwriter. It's also something that's very near and dear, and it's alongside girlfriend. That's a profession I really wanted in life, and approaching age 47, I'll still keep chugging away, but it feels sad that, and kind of a failure, that's not the profession I found I was able to get into, and of course lack of resources. I wish I had gone to Los Angeles. I wish somehow I could have become a professional screenwriter. Originally, growing up as a child, this is why, because my talents showed at a very young age, and my mom encouraged them. I was drawing a lot, and I was very excellent with drawing capability and like realistic drawing, and I would also take Transformers, and I'd read the backs. Each Transformer in the 1980s had a paragraph, what they called text specs, and it would have a nice painting of the character, and then it would have the name and a motto and a paragraph about the personality and capabilities. So with my mom's help, she wrote some of these down too, but I kept 2 notebooks, and I still have those notebooks. They're like Bibles, and I would copy down each of those paragraphs, kind of like collect them all. I didn't have enough money to buy a whole, all the Transformers, but at least I could copy down all the text specs, like all the paragraphs and the stats, the vitals on each character. So I wasn't one for really playing with Transformers in terms of bang bang, but here, let me leave that as a cliffhanger and continue in the next video.